We discuss about basics. Under this, we understand which subscription, which resource group, and or we can create a resource group also like a AG, hyphen resource, hyphen RG like that. We can provide it. And VM name depends on requirement. We can provide it the VM name also. And after that, region depends on requirement. We are going to deploy that. Select the that particular region. Later on, we'll discuss about this availability option and standard and trusted launched also. We already discussed in the last session, and it's going to select the specific VM size here. So that sorry, image we have to select it. Here it's depends on Windows or Linux, which operating system. Accordingly, we need to select it here. And so here we need to select the VM size. And if you see, the size is currently unavailable in WestUS2, this subscription, not available for the subscription like that. It's saying that. So what is the mean? So I'm right now I'm using the Azure Spark sponsorship. So some of the subscriptions won't support the some regions. WestUS2 supported, but still it's not showing the this is a one not available for this subscription means especially it's a very huge requirement hardware it's not available due to that we are getting the error. So better is a we can go with the different region. Okay, so if you go to the any other you can see I'm not getting any error here. Even no infrastructure, and you can we can see here that specific VM sizes we can see we are getting. So and username and password again, password we can provide it, and this is a energy we already discussed in the networking module. What about this one? As well as license also we already discussed. Coming to disk, by default we'll get the Azure Managed Disk. In the last session also we discussed managed disk means it's kind of directly we'll get the disk backend storage managed by Microsoft, and the disk it's a IOPS throughput and everything it's a predefined, so we can't change it. It depends on the requirement. If it is a more bandwidth, more performance wise we required means IOPS required means we have to change the disk. Size same size we can mention, but P10 P5 P15 like that, those things we can change it accordingly. We'll get the more performance for the same disk, same size we'll get the more performance also. That is a one more thing. So here we can attach the multiple disk here at a time when deploying the virtual machine. So even if it is already existing disk is available, yes, we can able to attach it. And if I'm going to create a new disk, and here the disk name automatically VM name and data disk underscore 0 like that it's a taking, and the disk size by default I'm getting the 1 TB. This much I don't require. So here premium SSD LRS I'm getting. LRS means local redundant storage. Within the that means local redundant storage means this is the region East US2 we are selected. East US2 we are selected. This is a VM it's going to deploy it. VM. So this VM is going to deploy any one of the on that region zone. That means one data center. Suppose in this region, 3 data centers is available. Suppose example wise, 3 data centers is available. So, but we are select the premium SSD LRS. That means within this region, within the region, within the specific data center only, that LRS local redundant is available. In case of this is a actually primary disk and two more copies is available. In case of this disk is a wrong or something crash or something crash means it's a kind of hardware level I'm talking about. Okay, so something happen due to that hardware or something problem, and automatically another disk will provide the services. Another disk will provide the services, guys. That is the way LRS it will work within the same data center only. But if you require the disk is a something, it's a entire zone is a problem at that time. It's a we need to get the disk from another zone means we need to select the ZRS. We need to select the ZRS. You can see here, if I'm going to change the size, as well as you can see here, there is a local redundant, it's a storage premium SSD. Right now it's a data replicate in the single data center only. It's a clearly mentioned and it's available. Okay, but why I'm not getting the ZRS means that specific VM size. That means here, if you go to here, the basics, and here, this is a VM, it's not availability zone. So if I'm going to select the availability zone, any one of the zone I'm selected. If I go back to disk and here create a disk and here change the one, and now you can able to, why I'm not getting, it should be actually 1 minute. Okay, this is a one. Let me here also. Okay, let me change it. This VM size also. VM size, suppose 4 CPU, 16 GB RAM. Go to the disk and still data replicate. 1 minute. It should be show to us ZRS also. Actually, LRS and ZRS, both the things is available, should be available. Uh, why I'm not getting premium SSD only? Okay, go to the basics. Even without also generally will get it. That is a one, no infrastructure wise also. Let me check it that way also. And might be in this region it's available, availability zone. Otherwise we even we can't select the availability zone here. Hmm, very interesting. Let me check it something. Resource iPhone RG can okay. Test VM. Suppose West US2. What will happen? Okay, so currently is a Azure Pass sponsorship. Let me select the my another subscription. Okay, that is a lock is available, due to that it's a getting the error. So okay, availability zone, everything fine. This is a Windows server I'm selecting. Okay, admin, providing the password again, none. Next disk here, still it's not showing. Again here. Okay. Normally disk, if I'm going to create it, let me check it. So create a disk. So okay, Azure sponsor only, let me select it. So something disk 012 like West US2. Here availability zone, you can see here the zone wise when we selected zone 1 suppose, and the disk also will get it, the zone 1. It's here we can see here local redundant still. Okay, and ultra disk also we can create it, uh, but instead of that one, suppose none, and change the this. And here now you can see here zone redundant storage we are getting. Data is a replicate into the three zones. Is a premium SSD and standard SSD. So zone redundant, if it is a wants to create it separately, normally disk is a created, and after that we try to attach it directly from that VM. If it is a trying to create it, it's not showing that option. Okay, not showing the option. So that means we need to select the disk here, like zone redundant premium SSD, like separately we need to disk is created. When deploying the VM, we need to attach it to the that particular VM, so that we'll get that disk is going to getting the ZRS, geo redundant storage wise will get it. So data replicate into the three zones. three zones. That means three data center. Data is a replicate in the single data center. So within the region only one data center. But here three data center is a replicate within the region and maintain the data. In case of any one of the zone problem, still another zone of the disk will provide the services. In this, only premium SSD, standard SSD only supporting, not standard HDD or ultra disk. It won't support it. Ultra disk, it won't support it. And one more thing you can see here, they are trying to bring up one more, that is a premium SSD version 2. Is a premium SSD version 2. It's a normally it's a premium SSD already is available production and performance sensitive workload wise. Again, one more they are trying to bring up, that is a best production performance sensitive workload that consistently required low latency and high IOPS and throughput. These also provided. It's compared to that one latest one more type of disk they are bringing up and providing the more performance on this. Hopefully is a
Yes, clear.
so let's go to the here. Suppose I'm creating the test VM 01, and here suppose I'm going to use EastUS2 and no infrastructure and remaining as it is, nothing changes. And one more thing, I think I forgot to explain about that one also. I will explain here. See all VM sizes. Already we discussed about VM sizes, different types of VM sizes and what is the purpose we already discussed. But one thing I need to explain here, if you see number of vCPUs we know and RAM size we know, but data disk, especially Microsoft is saying that that is a data disk. How many data disk additional disk we can attach to the this VM size? Only four. If you are trying to attach one more like fifth data disk, it won't it won't allow. We can't attach it. Okay, that limitation also depends on VM size. It will vary. You can see here 4, 8, 16, 32 also is available. Depends on that VM sizes, and accordingly will we can attach the multiple data disk. So depends on that. We can't simply in on premises we can attach the n number of disk, but here nothing. Okay, it's not possible because of it's a standard wise, how is the perform wise and everything they calculated accordingly, they given VM sizes wise how many data disk we can attach it, and good performance and everything will get it. And maximum IOPS also they provided 3750 input and output processing per second. And temporary storage also you can see guys, depends on this is a like VM sizes, that is a temporary disk also will get it, temporary storage disk. So here this specific VM size under that 75 GB, remaining all the VM sizes we are not getting. So some VM sizes will get it, some VM sizes we won't get it. So that is also depends on the VM sizes will get the this disk size. Temporary storage, we can't store the our permanent data on this, especially in this disk only, that swap file or its a page file will available under this temporary storage. Okay, depends on that. And this is also calculated based on this is a memory, based on memory and VM sizes, accordingly they are providing the this temporary disk. So sometimes what will happen compared to same VM sizes, but it's a like that depends on that temporary storage you will get it, this temporary disk on that host, from that will get it. Like host means that physical server, basically on the physical server storage is available, from that storage only directly they will get the this temporary storage, this temporary storage will get it. So definitely it's a very fast and provide the best performance. If it is a temporary storage you will require, as that specific VM sizes we can select it and accordingly we'll get it. You can observe here 2 CPU and 4 GB, 2 CPU and 8 GB RAM and 4 additional disk and 3750 performance IOPS and 75 GB of temporary storage we are getting. And here 10,255.64 rupees. Okay, 64 rupees. Same thing if you see Here 2 CPU, 8 GB RAM, 4 CPU, 3750 only, but temporary storage we are not getting here, 0 only, but 9887.49 rupees. That cost also applicable. If you are selected with the temporary storage, accordingly that cost is applicable. If you are not selected and you simply selected this is a one without temporary storage, you will get the cost is a reduce. That way also we can look into that, accordingly we can try to reduce the cost. Understood?
Yes, correct.
So this is also one of the how to reduce the cost wise. We can look into that and get the more things on that. Okay. So this is a one more point, especially uh, like some of the application they require the more, they are asking to simply attach the multiple disk, additional data disk. But first of all you need to look into that VM size support the how many attach the disk, additional disk, how many we can attach it. So accordingly we can suggest it these many disk only we can attach it. But how much disk size, each disk size, how much maximum we can attach it, that point also will get it. 32 TB, 32 TB. It's a 32 TB, it's a very huge. Yes. So if somebody wants to existing 4 disk only, it's a more partition, they can go with the one disk. It's a multiple partition, one disk under that D, under that same disk E also they can go with, but they have to use wise starting only they can define it. Otherwise, they have to go with the what are the VM sizes support the more additional disk. Accordingly, they can go with, so that they can we can attach the multiple disks also. Okay. So here more different limitations is available. When we are working on that, we'll get the more idea on this. So cost also accordingly here showing. Okay. This point also I covered, and one more point also you can see guys, and this is a one, most of the VM sizes support the premium disk. Premium disk supported or not, it's showing some specific VM sizes it won't support it. If it is a not supporting or supporting or not, and we can see it, but most of the VM sizes support the this premium disk. Premium disk it's a most of the supported. Let me check it, it's any other VM sizes it's cannot able to support it. Basically general purpose A series it won't support it, but nowadays A series is out of unsupported something. Yes, you can see here below, not supported. So premium disk, it won't support it A series, especially nowadays we won't use it. But until unless anything requirement and using, and if you try to attach the premium disk, it won't like we can't attach it. We can't attach it. Okay, clearly mention that point also. Okay, I hope is a clear this one also, and this is a none. And if it is a you are bringing your own license, at that time we need to select S and confirm S. This one when deploying the virtual machine or after deploy the virtual machine also we can change it. That's not a problem. Anytime we can change it. And next disk. So by default we'll get the disk, and here the 127 GB of OS disk if it is a Windows server. If it is the Linux server, we'll get the by default 30 GB only. That OS disk, root disk or something, it's a 30 GB only. We'll get it. If it is a in Windows also, if you want 30 GB, yes, small disk is a one of the VM sizes available. Small disk wise, already I shown you last topic, and accordingly we can choose it so that we'll get the small disk only. So 30 GB we'll get it. Okay, and here if I'm going to create attach the disk, here one point I want to show you. You can see host caching. So this host caching, especially sometimes some application teams they will ask you SQL database or HANA database or some application SAP applications, some other applications, they will ask you this host cache, the disk performance more requirements, they will ask you this host cache is needs to be changed. But this host cache also it won't support the all specific VM sizes. Specific VM sizes only supported. So let me show you this one also. Let me change that to the D series, next disk, and create attach a disk. Click on OK, and you can see here it's a none. Read only, read and write is available. So there is any possibility write only? Yes, that is a write, it's available only in ultra disk. Ultra disk only, write only is also available. But normally up to premium disk, read only, read and write, it's available. So what will happen exactly on this means, this is a disk level. Suppose this is a VM, this is a one of the disk. On the disk level also cache is available. This cache is whenever we select the read only, frequently what we are accessing the data, it's available under cache. Under cache. So whenever VM from end user and trying to access it, such same data, and it won't check it into the hard disk, or a hard disk is a byte level or bit level, it won't check it. Okay, in the cache level already data is available, it will fetch the data and provide the data to the customer. So very quickly and providing the data very quickly and get the data and providing the thing. So it's minimizing the latency. It's a minimizing the latency. No, I require the read and write both the things means yes, frequently access the data is available under cache, as well as what we are writing the data also under cache is available. Once we write completion, after that only our completion is completed. After that only it will go and write into the actually where exactly storing in the data. It's a bytes and bits wise, and it will store the data. So it's a very quickly and fastly it's going to read and write operation also will happen. So which host caching we are selecting accordingly, it's applicable guys. So depends on that application requirement, they will choose it, they will mention accordingly we are selecting. Otherwise by default we'll keep it the none only. Okay. This is a one more point, and if specific requirement wise they will mention yes we need to select the read only or read and write, we can select it. Okay,
Okay.
so this is a one more point we need to understand. So edit also we can do it again, come back to here, and here one more point is a enable shared disk. So if you select the S, so what happen? How many shares we need to select it? It's a 1 TB of disk. That's the reason we are getting maximum 5. So what is a maximum 5 means? Here is a I have create the 5 VMs or 3 VMs. This is a common disk for my 3 VMs means yes, I can create a disk, and the disk is a share needs to be enabled. This should be enabled, and we need to select the maximum share, so that after that we can attach the that same disk to 3 VMs. But this attachment we can't do it through Azure portal. This attachment we can't do it through portal guys. Through PowerShell only we can able to perform it. Through PowerShell commands only we should perform the this attach the shared disk to multiple virtual machines, especially when we'll get it this type of scenario means when we are doing the clustering high availability purpose. This is the same application high availability purpose when doing the clustering. And specific requirement wise, if it's a clustering wise shared disk if you are using, yes, at that scenario yes we need to create a common disk for all the 3 VMs and attach it. At that place only we'll use the shared disk. Okay, as my experience we have to use it that place, but other scenarios also will get it. But as my experience I'm saying that is the one. Right now I don't require. And this is the up to basics and disk guys. So as of now, any questions?
No, Kiran.
Okay. And next, networking. Here, what region in the basic we are selected? On that region, which virtual network is available, we can select it. Otherwise, if there is no virtual network, automatically it's creating the new virtual network. That is also your resource group name, hyphen VNet like that, it's going to create it. No, I don't require. I want to create it myself, naming convention and everything. Yes, name VNet, I can provide it here. Click on create a new, and we'll get the IP address range and subnet and blah blah everything. We can get it and click on OK. So accordingly, you can see if it is a creating new means here we are getting the new. We are getting the new. So clearly saying the new. That means new virtual network is a creating. So in real time, when is working, obviously most of the time existing virtual network is available. Due to that, we won't create it. Sometimes it will show you creating the new. So we have to careful here. So many people mistake on this, and especially we have to check it, that is exact existing virtual network is selected or not. If it is not selected, we need to drop down, and existing virtual network we need to select it like that, and which subnet also we need to select it specifically. Okay. And here public IP address by default we are getting, and real time we won't use it. How to avoid this public IP address means click on here, click on none, so that no need to deploy the public IP address. No need to deploy the public IP address. But if it is a public IP address required, yes, as it is, leave it and click on create a new. And we already discussed about this public IP address two types, basic and standard. And basic means it's a view will get the dynamic and static also. If it is a standard means only static will get it, and zone redundant additionally will get the option. This is the one already we discussed. And network security group by default, when virtual machine is creating a network interface card level, will get the network security group. But generally what I mentioned, real time will get the associate the subnet level. If it is already associated, it will show you a message also here already energy is associated the subnet level. So in this scenario you can click on none. So that means already subnet level is already available. No need to create one more energy in the network interface card level. Network interface card level, no need to create again. Okay. So here, and that public IP is also automatically deleted when virtual machine deleting if you selected, and enable the accelerated networking. This is a one especially specific VM sizes only will get it. Specific VM sizes only again will get it this accelerated networking. If you click on this one, learn more, click on, and here I can show you that accelerated networking, how it works. Visual diagram wise, I want to show you. Um, Let me here accelerated overview. Here we can see it here visual diagram wise for your more understanding. So if you observe here what it's saying without accelerated networking. So what happened here? Actually, this is a physical server. These are physical servers. Whenever hypervisor like VMware, Hyper-V or anything, so virtual switch it's going to create it. Here this is a virtual switch. This is actually physical network interface card. So this virtual machine, when we created virtual network interface card, it's going to create it. Virtual NIC, it's going to create it. This virtual NIC directly it's communicating to the virtual switch. After virtual switch, it's going to communicate the physical switch, physical network interface card. After that, it will go to the, if it is going to outside, yes, it's going to communicate the physical switch like that. But due to that, more hop count means will get the more latency. More hop count means more latency will get it. So I don't require this is a more latency, and minimize the latency means what should we do? And that specific VM sizes, if it's selected, that accelerated networking will get it. So on that physical server, it will avoid the virtual switch. Here you can see virtual switch not available. That VM directly communicating to the physical switch, physical network interface card, and that physical network interface card directly communicating the physical switch to network interface card, interface card to again virtual machine network interface card, virtual machine it's communicating. So it's avoiding the one hop count. Due to that, we can minimize the latency. That is a way Microsoft saying that. So you can see that virtual switch, Microsoft using the backend virtualization is a Hyper-V. So that's the reason they mentioned the Hyper-V virtual switch. If you want more about Azure, Hyper-V virtual switch, you want to understand, you can click on this one and more understand about virtual switch concept. So you can see here, it's a virtual switch. What is a virtual switch? How it works and everything. If it is somebody already working on that, VMware and Hyper-V or something, any other virtualization, this virtual switch is a familiar. Okay. So this virtual switch avoiding and getting the more performance. That's why it's a very helpful, guys. This is about accelerated networking. So next thing is a load balancing. This load balancing also by default is a if you want attached to the somebody load balancer already backend front end already load balancer is available, or you want to create this load balancer itself here. Yes, we can create a load balancer here, and we can attach the as a backend pool this particular virtual machine also. You can see here. So generally we won't do it this way. You can keep it none. So later on also we can add it. So up to this is a one networking, guys. This blade it's explain about networking. Any questions on this blade?
No, Kiran, I don't.
Okay. And coming to next management, and the management, it's why I'm getting this subscription is a protected by Microsoft Defender for cloud. So why? Because of Microsoft Defender cloud already one of the service I onboarded my subscription onboarded to that particular Microsoft Defender cloud. That's the reason I'm getting this is a one. Your subscription is a protected by Microsoft Defender for cloud basic plan. It's a there is a premium plan, some other plans is available, might be standard or premium, something is available, and accordingly that plan also it will show you here. Okay, so that's the reason it's showing tick mark. And coming to identity, enable system assigned managed identity. That means how we are creating the user account. Like generally, if you join the company, they that company will created your user account. Suppose I join the company, they will create my user account Kiran at the rate so and so abc.com. Like that, the company name with that they will create it. Yes. So one user ID, it's a object is going to create it. This is a called object. This is a object. That object where it's available under Azure Active Directory. Under Azure Active Directory, it's available. But my system, that virtual machine required the same object. My system itself required the one object. So how to get it that object? Here, if I'm selecting this one, and that system also it's going to create the one object. That system, that object name also, that virtual machine name what we given. Suppose I given here test VM01. The test VM01 wise that object also it's going to created. That object also it's going to created, guys. Okay, so especially when we'll use it this object system managed identity means suppose something it's a this is a storage, something storage, and this is a VM. This VM you required to provide it. I'm not providing the access to any user account. This VM, for this VM object, I'm going to provide the access under storage account. So that means in this application, this VM when is trying to communicate automatically with the storage and get the data or store the data means from this storage required the privileges of this VM. This VM required the privileges. So how to get the privileges? We are going to how we are going to provide the access to any user IAM, identity access management, how we are providing like some roles same like this object also we are going to provide the that role and associate the this object and providing the access. So this VM object also get the privileges, accordingly it will fetch the data or store the data, something like that it will happen. Okay.
Kiran, what is the use of the enable system management?
Okay, example, suppose this is a VM. In this VM my web server is running. Okay, web server means you require the SSL certificate. Yes, is it
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Suppose I'm like I don't want to upload a certificate and install my certificate in this server. Okay, that is the nowadays modernization wise directly not required to provide the certificate on this server. So what nowadays we are doing means Azure Key Vault. Yes, key vault is a concept. That key vault what we are doing, keeping into the our user id and password secrets, and as well as keys, as well as SSL certificate, everything or certificates we can keep it in the key vault. Now normally we are going to like bring our SSL certificate and keep it into the somewhere and install that certificate. But nowadays we are not doing. We are first uploading the certificate here, and password also maintain here only in the key vault. So from this VM needs to be fetch the SSL certificate from the key vault. Needs to fetch the key vault, this SSL certificate, even that password also. Because of SSL certificate means secure socket layer. That means encrypted and decrypted. Decrypted means it's required the password. When installing the SSL certificate also, that password required. But that password and SSL certificate where is available in the key vault. But VM, how we will get it from the key vault? This VM require the privileges. Yes, VM
Yes.
don't have privileges means how it will fetch the SSL certificate and how it's going to get decrypted or encrypted. It will happen. It won't happen like that. Yes. So that means this VM itself, one object it's going to created. Suppose this VM name test VM. This object is going to created. This object I'm going to provide the under key vault. Under key vault, I'm going to provide the privileges. Privileges I'm going to provide it like key vault read and list or something like that. Different privileges I will provide it. So this is a VM also getting the privileges to access the key vault and get the that SSL certificate and get the secret also. So that what will happen entirely you are without installing the certificate SSL certificate in your VM, still this VM trying to reach out to the key vault and getting the SSL certificate. Understood?
Yeah, understood. But how it will redirect to key vault
It's a we have to provide the access.
on the
This
key vault
VM
part?
we need to provide the access so that it will try to here when it's installing the here also we need to provide the that key URL name. There is a steps is available. Okay. Otherwise, simply providing the access, you need to fetch the SSL certificate or something. It won't happen. Yes.
Okay.
So there is a let me how to suppose here how to um, um, how to install or get the SSL certificate from Azure Key Vault. The import certificate in the Key Vault. So here import the certificate and the steps is a we need to follow it and this is a not right one but nowadays it's generally SSL certificate if you ask the thing what security team they will provide it normally directly they will provide the SSL certificate previously but nowadays what they are doing they are upload the SSL certificate from the key vault you need to get the SSL certificate they are saying that so that means they are not providing the SSL certificate that password no need to provide to us directly that secret is available under key vault certificate only. So Azure VM to get SSL certificate from Azure Key Vault. Yes, Azure VM. You can see here there is a steps is available. Okay. Oh, directly it's saying that how to do it also lab wise it's trying to do it like that. So you can see here it's entirely create a key vault first of all and maintain the certificate into the in the key vault and generate the certificate are stored in the key vault. After that create a virtual machine so that SCLI wise and add a certificate VM from key vault add a certificate from the VM from Key Vault. So totally it's a what is saying that it's a this is a you can see it's take the few minutes to create it, but Azure custom script extension install the IIS web server. Okay, that is a one leave it and get the Azure Key Vault secret and add the VM secret to here. So totally configure the IIS to use the certificate. So totally here they are giving the everything is here, but directly we are not getting the SSL certificate, but SSL certificate itself available under Key Vault, but we are fetching the Key Vault from that certificate. So you can see cert URL. So get the Azure Key Vault secret, that vault name in variable wise and cert name that is a here. This is a way they are trying to fetch the that certificate from the Key Vault. Understood? Got it? What I'm
Yes,
saying?
yeah, Kiran, understood that.
So generally, when you are trying to do it, these articles, something you need to follow it. Accordingly, you can try to search it. So you will get the more idea. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And coming to this VM needs to be joined into the Azure Active Directory domain join. Generally on premises, Windows Server Active Directory domain join, we can do it. Other than that, specific requirement wise, if you want to install that VM into the Azure Active Directory domain join means you need to log in with the Azure Active Directory. So what will happen? Automatically mandatory wise enable system assigned manager identity. It's a mandatory, as well as whenever we enable this one, and what is the saying that RBAC rule assign the virtual machine administrator login and virtual machine user login required when user AD login. So when user AD login credentials using that trying to take the RDB also, that user required the not only voice level as well as virtual machine level, they should require the minimum virtual machine user login or virtual machine administrator login privileges is required. Privileges required. Otherwise, simply voice level, if you provide the access, it won't work. It won't work. In the virtual machine level as well as voice level, both the ways we can provide it. Whenever we selected like this, automatically Azure Active Directory object also, that computer object also, it's going to created in the Azure Active Directory. Whenever you select like this, Azure Active Directory, under Azure Active Directory, this computer object also it's going to created. The device object also it's going to created. Right now I don't require. This is also not required. Okay, and automatically needs to be shut down this VM. I don't require. It's a specific time wise. Automatically needs to be shut down the VM. Yes, that time and time zone. And before that, you require the notification. 30 minutes before you will get the notification. That email ID you can provide it. And enable the backup. Yes, we can enable the backup. Accordingly, that backup policy we can select it, and backup recovery service wall later on we'll discuss. And site recovery also, that means disaster recovery purpose we use the enable disaster recovery purpose. This site recovery we can enable. So this is the entirely we need to provide it. So already existing one is available, we need to provide it. What is the second region, which subscription, and secondary subscription, and recovery service vault, site recovery policy, availability options, availability zone or availability set wise, and update the setting, allow the ASR to manage it, or manually we need to manage it, automation account. These all those things is required, disaster recovery. So might be later on we'll discuss about this one also. And patching. So automatic by OS, Windows automatic updates. So Microsoft is a, this is a one of the future is a providing automatically update the OS, and especially that weekends only when is a VM not any business not running, automatically every month it will keep on checking the thing with the Windows updates over the internet. Over the internet it's a keep on checking. Whenever that patches is available, it won't immediately install and reboot it. It won't happen. It's intelligent wise. It's intelligent wise and automatically checking the patches when is the non-business hours. At that time it's going to install the patches. Some patches orchestration options are also not available in this image, they are saying that, but it's a some images orchestration also is available and you can do it. And manual updates we have to do manually, the patches we have to do the manually. But here best for scenarios where interrupting workloads, where interrupting the workloads, for patching it's not an issue. Patching it's not an issue. Okay, it's not an issue wise we can use it automatically itself only, that patching it will happen. But that is a where business non-business hours only it will try to, that patches is installed and automatically reboot also it will happen. Okay, so this is a options also is available. Any questions on this up to now?
No, okay.
And the next monitoring tomorrow we'll discuss. This is a one monitoring and advanced. These are two topics we'll try to discuss tomorrow. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thank you.